All right, 97.7 Outlaw Radio FM listeners, we are live in full effect right here, right now with the one and only. We got Johnny JC live on the line. How you doing this evening?
What's up, man? I'm doing pretty good. How about you?
I'm doing great, man. I'm doing great. Great. I hope everything is all good on your end, man. You know what I mean? With this, we got some terrible news today. DMX passed away, and man, it's a sad day for hip hop.
Yeah, no, all of hip hop is mourning. All of real music listeners are mourning. I mean, everybody knows who DMX is. This is like, to me, one of the biggest celebrity deaths since like the Biggie and Tupac, being as how iconic he was.
And I'm not gonna lie, man. To me, it feels more like we lost. Like it feels like the day we lost Tupac. You know what I mean? Like it's one of those days. I think 20 years from now, everyone's gonna be able to sit back and be like, I remember where I was that day.
Yeah, for real. Yeah, I completely agree with that.
Nothing but prayers goes out to DMX and his family. But I gotta ask you, Johnny, like, what actually inspired you to actually get into the music industry initially? Like, what actually sparked your amazing career?
Honestly, when I was a kid, I wasn't really good at sports or anything like that, and I would get picked on a lot because I was a lot skinnier than a lot of the kids, so I wanted to go towards something that I can do better than the people that were picking on me, and it just happened to be hip-hop. I got the Marshall Mathers LP, and the DMX album, it's hot, and hell is hot, and something like that. It's dark and hell is hot. And once I listened to those albums, I just fell in love with the craft and how they were able to put their anger and their sadness and everything into a song. And I just wanted to be the best at that.
And I gotta say as well, man, to really help you get revenge on bullies, the Marshall Mathers album is most definitely the great choice for that. I think that's the album where he actually has the song "Bully" on it, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe so. I think he has one where he raps about his bully, who like his dad was a boxer and every day he shoved him in the locker and stuff like that. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And most definitely, it teaches you some pretty messed up shit. But at the end of the day, man, it's a good album to help you take away that pain for sure.
Definitely, and it's a good album to learn how to write like more complex rhyme schemes.
And also, man, at a very young age, you were actually the youngest to actually win an award at the Mayhem Kings Showcase. I was wondering if you could tell us a bit more about that showcase, and of course, like, what actually transpired for you to actually come out with the win.
So I was performing with all adults. I was the youngest. I was about 17 years old. No, you know what? I think I was 18. It was like 2012. And I wrote a couple of songs a couple months before that, and I was excited to perform them. They had a completely different vibe. And I guess when I went up, man, I was in the zone, man. I guess, like, people gravitated towards me. I had a lot of, like, fan response. And I guess they liked it well enough to give me an award for it.
I gotta say, man, that's actually pretty lit. If you don't mind me asking, like, how old were you actually when you actually won that award?
Maybe 18 or 19. Can't really remember which.
Hey, but at the end of the day, man, 18 or 19 is still a great age to win an award. It's not every day, you just become a man and then you can say, you know what, I'm a man, but I'm also an award-winning hip-hop artist. Man, it's not everybody can really say that.
Thanks, man. Yeah, that definitely was an awesome feeling. Made me want to go harder.
But also as well, man, in 2008, you actually released your first mixtape titled "Come Alive." I was wondering, what's the inspiration and story behind that phenomenal mixtape? And of course, is it still circulating around the internet to actually be listened to today?
Yeah, if people want to listen to "Come Alive," it's on Dat Piff. That's mixtape. If people know mixtapes, that is the GOAT of the mixtape platform. But I made it when I was a high school kid. I was a sophomore, and we were just partying like crazy high school kids do, and that was the vibe, literally.
But I gotta ask, man, pertaining to, you know what I mean, "Come Alive," the mixtape, because I obviously, like, nowadays the music industry has changed. Everything's all digital, you know what I mean? There's SoundCloud and whatnot, but do you actually think, as an artist, mixtapes should actually come back? What's your take on that? Some people say no, some people say bring it back. It's a great form to really express hip-hop.
Oh, man, I grew up in the DJ Green Lantern mixtape era, and I was always excited when a mixtape dropped. So, me personally, I love mixtapes. You get to hear more of like the raw, grittier artists that you might have fell in love with to begin with. So I think mixtapes, they have a lot more they have a lot more range that you can go to. An album is pretty fit to the idea. I feel like mixtapes, you got a lot more creativity.
And also as well, man, I also noticed that you actually own your own record label as well, actually called JCap. I was wondering if you can tell us a bit more about JCap, and of course, what actually made you decide to actually start up your own record label?
So JCap Productions is more of like a production company. So I do, well, obviously like music, Johnny JC, and then I also do sound engineering. And my friend, he does music videos, he does photography and stuff. So we just decided to combine our talents to come up with JCap. His last name's Capiello, J for Johnny, and that's pretty much how we started that. And we figured it's better to do things in house, and teach each other different skills, and then you can like become a master or whatever, than to pay somebody else. You might as well build it from the ground up yourself.
And I gotta ask as well, man, to actually get individuals, you know what I mean? So for individuals to reach out to you to get some production work done, how do they go about that? And of course, how can they actually reach you to actually set that up?
So you can go to jcapmediaproductions@gmail.com if you want to do sound engineering inquiries, mixing and mastering, or if you want to do music video inquiries or a photo shoot. Or you can do JCap Productions on Instagram.
And also, man, in June 2013, you actually dropped the album titled Sweet Dreams. I was wondering if you can tell our listeners a bit more about that record, and of course, where can we actually snag ourselves a copy of that classic record today?
Yeah, Sweet Dreams was fun. Sweet Dreams, I felt like that was my actual first mixtape coming into like the artist that I am today. So before I was kind of just recording party songs, I feel like Sweet Dreams was more of like a, coming into my own. So you can definitely still stream that. That's on DatPiff. Once again, I love DatPiff. I stopped using DatPiff when Spotify happened, because DatPiff is definitely the wave for mixtapes.
And I gotta say, I don't blame you as well for switching over to Spotify, because I don't think DatPiff pays. I don't know if it did or not. I'm not an artist. I just downloaded them, but I do know that obviously Spotify pays. Not very much, but at the end of the day, it's better to make a little bit of money rather than no money at all.
Yeah, it's what you put into it. You know what I mean?
And also as well, man, on November 2019, this is the one album that really drew me to your music, man, is an album called X25, man. And I've always wanted to know, man, since we first got connected, what's the inspiration behind that phenomenal album, man? Because in my personal opinion, you could really hear the inspiration in all of your lyrics in that particular record.
So X25 was a more personal record for me. It was like everything I was going through a certain time period. I pretty much went through a bad relationship, and heartbreaking stuff always inspires artists to write like their hardest, to your emotions you're feeling. So it was pretty much the journey between that moment and where I'm at right now.
And I gotta say as well, man, do you actually have any hard copies available of that particular record? I do know it's a fairly old project, but if you got any old hard copies around, how can our listeners actually go about snagging themselves a copy?
I actually, that's a really good idea, DJ Immortal. I might have to get some physical copies. I'll definitely send you one.
I appreciate that, man. And also, man, let me know how much, as well, when you print them up, let me know how much the the shipping, and I'll make sure I send you the correct amount of money as well, man, to get that sent off.
Hey, that's on me, man. Don't worry about that.
But also, man, as well, you actually have your own clothing line as well, called Goat Gang Clothing, man. I gotta say, you're a jack of all trades, but I have to ask you, can you tell our listeners a bit more about that clothing line? And of course, what merch do you have, and where can we actually snag ourselves some of as well?
So the Goat Gang Clothing line, that was made by my boy Forrest out in Washington. Young kid, a lot of great ideas. He actually did an X25 release as a collaboration release. You would have to go and follow Goat Gang Clothing or Forrest Hampton on Instagram, and he'll take you to the clothes.
And I gotta say, man, I checked out a little bit of it, man. You have some phenomenal, great quality products. So everybody that is listening, you know what I mean? If she's a bit nipply in your area, make sure you grab yourselves a hoodie. But if she's starting to get warm in your area, make sure you grab yourselves a nice t-shirt as well.
Yeah, man, definitely.
But I also noticed as well, man, that you actually had the opportunity to actually open up for Mac Lethal at Webster Hall in New York City. I have to ask you, man, what was that experience like, just being in New York City and opening up for such a talented artist just like yourself?
Yeah, being in New York City when you know you got a show, being in New York City in general, there's a whole vibe to it, completely different. But being in New York City when you have a show, that's another level. And Webster Hall's a freaking dope venue. It was my first venue that had a green room, so I was able to chill with the artists and like talk to them and get to know them. I still talk to one of them, Vincent the Owl. He's dope till this day. And Mac Lethal, he was freaking. His flows are wild, and the crowd was good. The crowd was very receptive. Some crowds, you know, sometimes when you get up on stage, some crowds are like, you gotta work for them to like mess with you, but nah, his fans were pretty receptive.
And I gotta say as well, it must have been like an easy for you as well, being a young artist. You know, you didn't really have to put a lot of work into it, man. You can just enjoy yourself.
Yeah, I love performing. That was one of the big aspects that drove me to do music.
But also as well, man, I noticed that you actually have a brand new record out that actually came out this year in 2021, and it's actually called Soulless Man. I was wondering if you can tell our listeners a bit more about that record, and of course, if they haven't already, where can they actually snag themselves a copy and check it out?
Yes, so Solace was released 2021. It was basically, you know, I went through some things from the ending of X-25, and you know, those were some pretty hard things that I had a hard time speaking about. So I decided to put it into an album. So I used that energy to make Solace. And the meaning behind Solace is like being happy in my world, like the people that are in my little world, like your little circle, you know, as my family and stuff. And I really actually dove deeper into songwriting and lyric writing, and I actually started giving more of can I curse on this station?
Oh, most definitely, man. We're completely uncensored. Swear away.
Oh, damn, I would have been, okay. Yeah, I started to get more of a fuck about my lyrics and the content that I was creating and putting out, you know what I mean? I didn't want to, like, half-ass the album. I really wanted to be unapologetic, you know what I mean? Just do it, you know, and if you mess with it, if you don't, because it's too personal, then I don't know. But if you do, or you can relate to something, then, you know, that makes me happy.
Hey man, most definitely. I gotta say, it's a phenomenal record as well. The one track that I really actually like on it is actually called "You Don't Know." I believe you did collaborate on that is KC Bands as well.
Yeah, KC Bands. I've known him since high school. We're both from the same town, went to the same high school.
Hey man, you guys have phenomenal chemistry, man. Hopefully down the line, us fans actually get to hear just a little bit more of you guys together on the same joints.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, like, the people that I do music with, I've done music with since I was making Sweet Dreams. Like, my collaborations, I haven't really branched out much. And it's not that I don't like artists. You know, I love all the new music. It's just that I feel more comfortable being with the people, growing with the people that were around me since day one, you know what I mean?
And also as well, man, I gotta ask you, Johnny, like, what is next for you, man? I do know that you have such a amazing career within the hip hop community, but is there anything I actually missed during this interview? Anything else you still want to talk about or promote? What we still have you here live on the Canadian airwaves?
First off, I want to say thank you for having me on here. And Canada has been rocking with my music. I see the insights, and I appreciate it so much. Pretty much, I'm just working, man. We got Time coming out tomorrow. That's the single featuring my boy Mo Green. That'll be on all streaming platforms. We got the Not Free music video, which I just got the file back today. So that's about to go up. So we're just working. That's it. There's no talk, all just action. You know what I mean?
And also, Johnny, this is a time in the interview here quickly that I give a chance for the individual that does slide into the radio station airwaves, just a chance to give shoutouts to whomever they want to give shoutouts to. But most of all, man, your social media handles. That way our listeners can follow you and stay updated everything Johnny JC if they're not already doing so.
Sure. So you can follow me on Instagram, Johnny JC Music, Spotify, Johnny JC. Pretty much go to Google, type in Johnny JC, and everything will pop up. But yeah, thank you for having me on, man. I appreciate it.
Hey, man, I gotta say, you are most certainly welcome, man. Keep making that amazing music, and we here in Canada are most definitely gonna keep spinning it, man. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for your time, but most definitely have yourself a wonderful night, and of course, an amazing weekend.
You too, man. All love.